What if I told you there's a dark, hidden pleasure buried deep inside your brain? One you might not even want to admit exists. A silent, electric thrill that sparks when someone else stumbles, when they fail, when they fall from grace. You've felt it before, haven't you? That split-second smirk when the arrogant coworker gets humiliated, the guilty satisfaction when a celebrity scandal blows up, or the irresistible pull of watching a fail compilation at 2 a.m. Why? Why does part of us enjoy this? Is it just harmless fun, or something much darker? Think about the last time you saw someone trip in public. Maybe they spilled coffee all over themselves, or their voice cracked during an important speech. Did you laugh? Just a little? And more importantly, why? It's not like their pain benefits you. In fact, if you're honest with yourself, you might even feel a twinge of guilt afterward. But in that moment, it felt good. Almost too good. And you're not alone. Millions of people crave this exact feeling. Clicking on blooper reels, rubbernecking at drama, even reveling in the downfall of strangers online. But here's the unsettling truth. This isn't just mindless entertainment. It's wired into us. A primal psychological glitch that scientists have traced back to envy, power, and even survival itself. So, tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on one of humanity's best-kept secrets. The disturbing reason we love watching others fail. And by the end, you might never look at a viral fail video, or even yourself, the same way again. It starts as a whisper in the back of your mind, a flicker of warmth when someone else stumbles. You try to ignore it, push it down, but it's there. And it has a name, Schadenfreude, that cold, slippery word from the German language meaning harm joy. The pleasure we take in another's pain. But why? Why does something so undeniably cruel feel so undeniably good? Imagine this. You're scrolling through your phone and there it is, a video of someone failing spectacularly in public. A clumsy fall, a humiliating mistake, a moment of pure, unfiltered defeat. Your thumb pauses, your breath hitches, and then you smile. Just for a second, before guilt creeps in. But in that moment, your brain rewarded you, gave you a hit of dopamine as if you'd just won a prize. And the truth is, this isn't some modern sickness. This is ancient, hardwired, buried so deep in human nature that neuroscientists have actually seen it light up the brain like a fireworks display. Think about the last time you saw someone arrogant get knocked down a peg. That surge of satisfaction wasn't an accident. Studies show that when people witness a high-status individual fail, a celebrity, a rival, that coworker who always takes credit, their brain's reward centers activate. It's not just laughter, it's vindication. A silent, primal cheer that whispers, "Finally, justice." Because when the world feels unbalanced, when envy simmers under the surface, Schadenfreude becomes the great equalizer, a way to say you're not so untouchable after all. But here's where it gets darker. This isn't just about fairness. It's about survival. Thousands of years ago, when tribes competed for scarce resources, seeing a rival falter could mean the difference between life and death. That instinct never left us. It just shapeshifted. Now, instead of rival hunters, it's the influencer who flaunts their perfect life, the politician who preaches morals while breaking them, the classmate who always seemed one step ahead. When they fall, we don't just witness it, we savor it, because on some unconscious level, their failure feels like our victory. And yet, here's the twist. It's not always malicious. Sometimes, Schadenfreude is the brain's twisted way of protecting us. When we're struggling, when self-doubt gnaws at our edges, seeing someone else fail reassures us. At least I'm not that bad. Psychologists call it downward social comparison, a survival tactic disguised as cruelty, a way to soothe our own insecurities by measuring ourselves against someone else's ruin. But ask yourself this, when does it cross the line? When does a fleeting moment of guilty pleasure turn into something uglier? Because the same mechanism that makes us chuckle at a harmless blooper reel also fuels online mobs, public shamings, the kind of laughter that echoes long after the joke is over. Schadenfreude isn't just a quirk, it's a mirror, and if we stare too long, we might not like what stares back. So the next time you feel that familiar spark of amusement at someone else's expense, pause, listen to it, because that whisper in the dark isn't just telling you about them, it's telling you about you. Close your eyes and imagine this. You're standing in a circle of firelight surrounded by shadows. The air smells of smoke and sweat. Someone tells a story about the hunter who got too proud, the warrior who grew careless. And when they reach the part where he stumbles, where his arrogance becomes his downfall, the tribe erupts in laughter. Not cruel, not exactly, but hungry, satisfied. Because this isn't just entertainment, it's a warning, a lesson carved into bone. And though the firelight has been replaced by screens, though the tribes have become comment sections and office politics, that ancient code still runs through us like a pulse. Why does failure fascinate us? Because long before it was entertainment, it was survival. In the earliest human societies, watching others fail wasn't a pastime, it was intelligence gathering. Every misstep was data. Don't eat that plant. Don't trust that tribe. Don't challenge the alpha unless you're ready. Laughter made the lesson stick, and those who paid attention lived. Those who didn't, well, their failures became someone else's survival guide. Fast forward to now. The stakes are lower, but the wiring remains. Think about how quickly a group bonds over shared disdain. The office gossip that spreads like wildfire when the boss's favorite makes a mistake. The way online communities unite to dissect a public figure's downfall. This isn't coincidence, it's tribal programming. When we collectively witness a failure, especially from someone who deserves it, we're not just spectators, we're reaffirming the social order, drawing lines between us and them. And with every laugh, every shared glance, every upvote on a humiliation post, we're replaying a ritual older than civilization itself. But here's what's chilling. Evolution doesn't care about fairness. It only cares about results. Studies of primates show that when a high-ranking male is dethroned, the others don't just observe, they participate. Not out of justice, but opportunity. Because in nature, one creature's failure is another's chance to rise. And though we like to think we've evolved beyond such brutish instincts, the evidence whispers otherwise. Why do underdogs captivate us until they succeed? Why does the same public that cheers a rising star so often turn on them the moment they stumble? Because deep down we're still hardwired to see every fall as an opening, and every failure as a threat neutralized. Yet for all its darkness, this impulse has a twisted purpose. Social hierarchies need lubrication, and Schadenfreude is the oil. It keeps the ambitious in check, the arrogant wary, the powerful from growing too comfortable. The problem isn't the mechanism, it's the scale. Because in a world where failures are no longer contained to a tribe but broadcast to millions, where a single mistake can echo forever in digital catacombs, have we weaponized what was once a survival tool? Turned a social regulator into a perpetual blood sport? The firelight still flickers, the circle still gathers. But now when the laughter rises, it doesn't fade into the night. It reverberates across continents, collecting momentum, leaving wreckage in its wake. And the most terrifying question isn't why we watch, but whether we still know how to stop. Somewhere in the world right now, a server is humming. A quiet, mechanical purr in a darkened room, feeding an endless stream of someone's worst moment to a million hungry screens. And with every click, every share, every looping replay of that cringe, that slip, that catastrophic live-streamed meltdown, we're not just watching, we're voting, telling the algorithm, yes, more of this. But here's what they don't tell you. This isn't just entertainment, it's a trap. One we built ourselves, brick by digital brick, without realizing what it would do to us. Think about the last time you fell into a fail video rabbit hole. That first chuckle feels harmless, right? Just blowing off steam. But then another plays. And another. The stumbles get more extreme, the humiliation more visceral, until you catch yourself, hours later, watching things that would have made you wince yesterday. This isn't an accident. It's by design. Because every platform you use has cracked the ancient code of human psychology, we can't look away from carnage. Only now the carnage isn't physical. It's emotional. And the Coliseum seats, they're infinite. Reality TV figured it out first. They didn't invent Schadenfreude, they weaponized it. Take ordinary people, amplify their flaws, edit their most vulnerable moments into grotesque caricatures, and watch as audiences tune in not to cheer, but to jeer. The genius and the horror was realizing we don't want villains. We want humans just flawed enough to feel superior to. And when ratings proved how ravenous that appetite was, the internet took the blueprint and industrialized it. Now, failure isn't just televised, it's monetized, algorithmically curated, tailored to your specific flavor of Schadenfreude. Political missteps for the partisan, influencer downfalls for the envious, workplace meltdowns for the quietly resentful. Each click trains the system to find you more, dig deeper, until your feed becomes a hall of mirrors reflecting every petty grievance and hidden insecurity you didn't even know you had. And the most terrifying part? It works because we let it. Because that little dopamine hit when someone else stumbles feels like winning, even as it hollows us out. But here's the twist even the engineers didn't predict. When failure becomes content, we all become potential contestants. Ever held back from posting something, just in case it could be mocked? Hesitated before hitting go live? Imagining how it might be clipped out of context? That's not paranoia, it's survival instinct in the digital jungle. Because the same platforms that profit from others' failure have turned us into both predator and prey, always watching, always being watched, in an endless cycle of performative perfection and Schadenfreude-fueled takedowns. The server keeps humming, the clips keep coming, and with every scroll we're faced with a silent question. Are we consuming the content? Or is the content consuming us? There's a moment, fractional, almost imperceptible, when laughter curdles into something darker. When the stumble stops being funny and starts being painful. But by then, it's too late. The crowd has already erupted. The memes are already spreading. And somewhere out there, a real human being is learning in real time that their worst moment has become the world's entertainment. So tell me, where exactly was the line? And more chillingly, did you even notice when you crossed it? We tell ourselves it's harmless, that the people in those videos signed up for this, that public figures deserve the scrutiny. But look closer. That viral fail clip? It might be someone's last confident moment before they stopped raising their hand in meetings. That live stream meltdown? Could be the unraveling of someone who'll never trust an audience again. The internet never forgets, but more damningly, it never forgives. And we've built an entire economy around that cruelty. Here's what happens when Schadenfreude goes unchecked. First, the fails get more extreme. Then, the threshold for deserved failure gets lower. Soon, you're not just laughing at obvious hubris. You're reveling in ordinary people's ordinary bad days. A nervous speaker, an awkward teen, a grieving person snapping under pressure. The crowd still cheers, but the taste is bitter now. That's not justice anymore. It's blood sport. Worst of all, it changes you. Neurologically. The more you consume failure as content, the more your brain wires itself to expect it, to crave it. Empathy becomes work. Cruelty becomes reflex. And one day, you catch yourself smirking at something that should have made you wince and realize you don't even know when you became this person. But here's the secret no algorithm will tell you. That sick feeling in your gut when the laughter dies down. That's not guilt. It's recognition. The part of you that still remembers we were never meant to feast on each other's stumbles. That ancient tribes punished those who kicked the fallen, that somewhere under the layers of digital detachment your humanity is still fighting to surface. The line isn't out there, it's in you. And every time you press play, you get to decide, feed the beast or starve it. You feel it already, don't you? That quiet itch in the back of your skull every time someone stumbles. The involuntary twitch at the corner of your mouth when an arrogant voice finally cracks. It's still there. That primal hunger. But here's the secret no one tells you. You're not powerless against it. The same brain wired to revel in failure can be rewired to recognize it. And in that moment of recognition, you'll find something far more intoxicating than Schadenfreude. True control. Try this experiment. Next time a fail video grabs your attention, freeze. Don't click. Don't look away. Just listen to your pulse, your breath. That split second before the laughter kicks in. What you'll find is a void, a hungry, empty space where your empathy should be. And in that void, a choice. Because Schadenfreude only wins when it operates in the shadows, when you drag it into the light and ask, why does this amuse me? That's when the spell breaks. Pay attention to the aftertaste. Real laughter lifts you. Schadenfreude leaves you heavier, like you've swallowed something that won't digest. That's your conscience, your modern, civilized self, colliding with ancient wiring. And that discomfort, that's not weakness. It's your humanity fighting its way back to the surface. Here's how to tip the scales. For every failure you witness, seek out a redemption. Balance the blooper reel with stories of second chances. Watch how your brain reacts when someone rises after falling. It's a different kind of thrill, one that lingers longer and burns cleaner. This isn't about morality. It's about pleasure optimization. Schadenfreude is fast food for the soul. Real connection is the gourmet meal you never knew you craved. The most radical act? Dare to fail publicly yourself. Not performatively, genuinely. Miss a step, fumble a word, let the world see you survive it. Because nothing defangs the monster faster than realizing the crowd's laughter was never about you. It was always about their own unspoken fears. And when you stop fearing failure, you stop needing others to fail. That itch in your skull? It never fully goes away, but now you know its name. And like all dark things, once named, it becomes smaller, weaker, just another shadow in the cave of your mind. The question is, will you feed it or will you step into the light? So here's the truth they never taught you. Every time you laugh at someone's fall, you're not just watching their story, you're writing yours. The question is, what kind of story do you want to tell? One where you were part of the crowd, feeding on scraps of other people's pain, or one where you stepped back and saw the bigger picture. Imagine a world where failure isn't entertainment, where stumbles aren't monetized, where the raw, messy moments of being human aren't turned into content to be consumed and discarded. It sounds impossible, doesn't it? Almost naive. But that's only because we've been conditioned to think cruelty is inevitable. That Schadenfreude is just human nature. But here's what they don't want you to realize. Human nature isn't fixed. It's a choice, repeated, over and over, until it feels like fate. The next time you feel that familiar pull, the urge to click, to gawk, to revel in someone else's misfortune, pause, just for a second, and ask yourself, who benefits from this? Who wins when we're too busy laughing at each other to notice what's really happening? The answer might unsettle you. Because the greatest trick the digital age ever pulled wasn't making failure public. It was making us forget we have a choice in how we respond. This isn't about being nice. It's about power. The power to resist. The power to rewire an entire culture one click at a time. The power to look at someone's lowest moment and see not a punchline but a reflection of your own fragility. The screen is still glowing. The algorithm is still watching. And right now, in this very moment, it's waiting to see what you'll do next. So tell me, what's it going to be?